What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a classic story. Hope you guys do enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do. And also, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody for all the support they've been giving me from yesterday's video, or technically like 2 days ago. I uploaded it like midnight. It was a weird time, but either way, the last video I uploaded. Shout out to everybody for all of the support, and thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoy. Drop a like if you do, and let's dive into it. So, I got robbed. Now, this is kind of an extension of the My Friend Got Robbed video, because it's a very similar scenario involving basically all the same people. But basically, this happened, I want to say, like, maybe a year and like 3 months ago, I'm pretty sure, like something around that, year and 3 months, year and 4 months, like an odd amount of time ago. It was like March of 2016, basically. And I was kicking it with my boy Ashton and a couple other people. It was me and Ashton and Chris's girlfriend. And we were all kicking it. You know, we had some bud, we were smoking, we had some other stuff. We were just having a hoot and a holler. And Chris had a serve to make. And at this point in time, this was after Ashton had already gotten robbed at that party, and then we went and retaliated to the people who robbed him, which I'm not going to get into specifics about that, but, you know, we went and did our work to deal with them robbing him, and then they were not so happy about that, and this happened. So Chris had a serve to make, and he was like, yo, Nick, you know, you should drive me to this serve. Let's go. It's like maybe 5 minutes away. And I was like, I'm fucking fried. You can drive my car. I'll just sit in back. And he's like, all right. So he hops in. His girl's in a shotgun. Me and Ashton are sitting in back. You know, we're all kicking it. We're smoking some squares, driving over to this spot. It's all good. It's all Gucci. And we get over there, and it's this apartment building. Now, I asked Chris who he was serving, and he was like, I don't know, this motherfucker, I met this dude like twice, but either way, he wants some shit, so it's whatever, you know? And the guy he's serving never really comes into play during the story, because I don't really know if he was even a real person or not, and I'll get to that later. But basically what ended up happening was Chris is like, all right, well, I'm gonna go bust this serve real quick and we can slide back to my crib and roll up some more. And I was like, all right, sounds good. So Chris gets out of the car and goes inside, and maybe like 5 minutes go by, 5-10 minutes, I want to say, and he's still in there. And knowing Chris, he's a fast guy when it comes to the serves. Like, he'll bust it out, scale it out, and be done with it. Like, he's a very quick guy. So for him to be in there that long was pretty unusual. But I was like, whatever, you know, maybe there's some homies in there that he didn't know would be there, so he's just talking to him or whatever. Maybe they had a blunt lit, so he's just smacking it. I don't know. And all of a sudden, I'm looking out the rearview mirror, because Ashton, you know, he was like a kind of a paranoid guy, and I don't blame him, because people would try to rob him and finesse him a lot, because he was just a fucking plug. So, you know, he's looking out the rearview mirror, he's tweaking out, he's like, bro, what's taking so long? Like, you think he's good? And I'm like, yeah, bro, he's probably fine, you know, it's whatever, we good. So, we're just kind of kicking it, and we're sitting there. And then I'm looking in the rearview mirror, right? Like, because we're parked facing away from the entrance to the apartment, and we're under this little, like, kind of half garage, like, awning thing, like one of those rain covers. And, you know, the only way we can get the car out is from, like, by reversing. If we drove forwards, you just slam into the fucking awning thing and, like, wreck the car. So there's only one way for us to get out of there. So no, like, real quick getaway option. If some dude stood behind the car, he's getting ran the fuck over, and that's a fat case. So I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and 3 dudes masked the fuck up, you know, all ski masks, different kinds. You know, one of them had the kind where there's just like a big slash, like a big hole for both the eyes and no mouth hole. One of them had the one with the hole for the mouth, and, you know, there was like two separate little circular like eye cuts. It was a bunch of different stuff. It looked like they just took like fucking winter hats and just like cut holes in them. They were walking up to the car, and I tapped Ashton, and I was like, bro, look, like, get ready, bro, like, put your fucking shit away. And he's like, lock the fucking car. And by the time we noticed this, because they came from the side, by the time we noticed this, they were already at the car, and we didn't even have time to lock it. And Chris's girl, there was no locks in the back, like you had to manually like push the lock in from the back, which, you know, we didn't really have time to do because we noticed them way too fucking late. And I'm yelling to Chris's girl, not yelling, but I'm just telling her, I'm like, lock the fucking car, like reach over, lock it. And she reaches over and tries to lock it, but they already got one of the doors open, so it doesn't matter. So what ends up happening is we never even got to lock the car. They pull the backseat doors open. They didn't want shit to do with Chris's girl. They didn't care about her. They were interested in me and Ashton. So this big motherfucker who we're gonna call Jimmy. Jimmy's got brass knuckles and he's masked up and he's big as fuck. He's like maybe a little under 6 foot, and dude weighed at least like 280. Like, he was a big motherfucker. And he's got brass knuckles on, and on the end of the brass knuckles is a blade. And what he does is he cracks me in the fucking chest. He just straight up punches me square in the chest. And this motherfucker, this hurt. Like, let me tell you guys, this hurt like a bitch. He hits me in the chest, right? I'm like, fuck. Like, I don't even like feel the pain immediately because I'm still trying to process what the fuck is going down right now. And Chris is still nowhere to be found. He's still in that apartment, let me remind you guys. So he hits me in the chest and yanks me out of the fucking car. Like, this motherfucker had the force with him, bro. He had the momentum. Like, he really wanted me out of that fucking car. And he's like, get out, bro. I don't want to hurt you no more. So I was just stunned. Like, I didn't even say anything. I was like, bro, chill the fuck out. Like, that's all I said. I was just like, bro, chill the fuck out. So, Ashton's on the other side of the car. He's on the left side. There's a guy who we're going to call... What name can we give him? You know what? We're going to call him Nick. I know that's my name, but whatever. Fuck it. There's another Nick now. So, Nick is dealing with Ashton, and Ashton's trying to, like, fight back and hit him back and shit, but Nick's got a pistol on him. I don't know what kind of gun it was. I mean, it kind of looked like a Glock, but it was dark as fuck out, so I don't really know. So what ended up happening was, this all happened really fucking quickly. Like, within less than a minute, this was over with. What ended up happening was, as soon as Nick opened the car door, he pistol whips Ashton in the head. And then as soon as the other dude, I forgot what nickname I gave him, fucking Jimmy. I'm pretty sure it was Jimmy. As soon as Jimmy was done, like, cracking me in the chest and yanking me out of the car, there was a third guy being, like, their lookout, kind of. But he wasn't really doing his job because after I got yanked out of the car, he was just kind of looking at me and not really looking around. And Ashton starts yelling help because we didn't have shit for weapons on us. Like, there was no way we could have defended ourselves in this scenario. We were outnumbered. I'm not going to make my friend's girl fight back. Like, that's fucking petty. No, I'm not doing that. And, we had weapons in the car, but we kept them in the trunk in the spare tire compartment. Like, we didn't keep them on us. So, like, if we got pulled over or anything, they were hidden. I don't really know the logic. It was kind of fucking dumb of us, but we should have been more prepared, but we weren't. So, ended up happening was Nick ends up opening the door, pistol whipping Ashton. I get hit, yanked out of the car. Dude with the brass knuckles, Jimmy gets in, and he straight slices Ashton in the throat. Like, not super deep, but like he's bleeding. Not a ton. Like, it's hard to describe. Like, it wasn't like he slit his fucking throat, but he just cut him in the neck, and then he hit him a couple times in the face, and this all happened within like 5-10 seconds. And the third dude was where the twist in this story kind of came in, because the third guy who was their lookout was one of my homies. Former homie now, but was one of my homies. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, that's the only thing I said. It was just like, bro, the fuck are you doing? And, I start like walking back towards the car because I'm trying to get them to fuck off Ashton, even though I knew there was no way I was going to be able to. And he was like, bro, just don't do anything stupid. I fuck with you, dude. Like, I'm not trying to hurt you, And I'm pretty sure that the main reason that they didn't end up taking anything from me and instead they just fucking hit me and yanked me out of the car is because in our like retaliation method for them robbing Ashton originally, they didn't know that I was involved. They never found out who was involved in that scenario. They still to this day have no idea. So if they see this video, they know, but still to this day, they never found out who did what happened. I'm not going to get specific in that, but they never found out who did it, except they knew that Ashton was connected to it because, they just robbed him and it happened the same night. Like, there's no coincidence in that. So anyways, I do the first thing that I could think of to get them the fuck out of there that I was hoping to God would work. What I ended up doing, and let me remind you guys, this all happened so quickly. Like, I know this video is long, and I'm probably making this sound like it took place over a span of like 10 fucking minutes, but they showed up and left within like less than a minute. What ended up happening was, as soon as I kind of realized who the third guy was, because even though they had masks, if you know someone, it's not fucking hard to tell who they are, and they dressed the exact same. Like, they were wearing clothes that they wore all the time. Like, they did not do a good job of hiding it. So what I ended up doing is I just yelled cops. I just started yelling cops. And, logically, from their perspective, I don't know why the fuck that would make sense, because why would I yell cops to help them? Like, wouldn't I want the cops to come? But I just yelled cops, and their lookout, who we're going to call... Oh, I gotta think of a name for him. We're gonna call him Johnny, who was like my former homie and was my friend at the time leading up to this, who I didn't expect to set us up like this. He was like, oh shit, and he books it. The other two dudes, Jimmy and Nick, they book it. They just dip. They leave. They don't do shit after that. They don't try to do anything to us. They just run. And I have no idea where they went. I wasn't focused on where they went. The first thing I did, I ran and hopped in the fucking driver's seat and I locked that fucking car. Chris's girlfriend is like on the verge of tears in the front seat. Like, she's like, what the fuck just happened? And Ashton's in back and he's just yelling fuck, like top of his lungs, like angry ass yell, just like fuck. And I look back and I'm just like, you good, bro? Like, what's up? And I see he's got blood on him. He's got his eyes fucked up. He actually had a black eye after this, and he had this big ass fucking welt on his forehead from getting pistol whipped. So I was like, you good, bro? And he's like, yeah, dude, get the fuck out of here. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, Chris is still in there, bro. What the fuck? So I was like, all right, well, realistically, we got the car locked now. I can just move the car to a different spot where I could still see the entrance and try to see if Chris is going to come out, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on with Chris. They ended up robbing us. They robbed Ashton and hit me, but we still didn't know where Chris was. We had no idea what happened. So what we did was I hopped back in the car and I backed out, and I went and drove down further into the parking lot, and I reversed into the spot I was in this time so I could just gun it out if anything else happened or if anyone showed up. And at that point, I didn't give a fuck if they stood in the front of the car. Someone's getting ran over. I'm snapping bones out here, boys. So we're waiting there for maybe like 5-10 minutes, and we're all trying to call him. His girl's like panicking. Like, she's freaking the fuck out and trying to like call his phone. I'm Snapchatting him. I'm calling him. I'm FaceTiming him. No answer. So maybe 15-20 minutes go by, and I wanted to stay so fucking bad, but I've known Chris for a long time. I know that motherfucker can hold up on his own. He's probably like one of the toughest motherfuckers I know. And I knew that he was clever. So I knew that he was probably okay and just didn't have his phone, or some shit happened with his phone, or he's still in the middle of dealing with it. So we kind of didn't want to go inside the apartment because, A, we didn't know where the fuck the dudes who just robbed us went. And if we were to go inside and they happened to be in there then and there, we would then be in a position for them to continue beating the fuck out of us, and not, like, I wouldn't be able to yell cops to get out of that because we're in a fucking apartment, there wouldn't really be much getting out of that. So what ended up happening was Chris's house is maybe like 5 minutes down the street. So we went back to Chris's house. That was the first thing we did. We were like, did he go out the back of the apartment? Like, did he get home? What the fuck happened? So we go back and we post up there. We sit there for a little bit. We're still spam calling him. We see nothing. So finally, maybe like an hour later, he calls me, and I'm fucking relieved. We're all sitting in my car, me, Ashton, and Chris's girl, and we're just we were tweaking out about what happened to him. And he calls me, and he's breathing heavy as fuck, and he's like, bro, where you at? And I was like, I'm posted up at your crib. Like, what the fuck happened, dude? And originally, like, I was confused as to what the fuck happened and how he disappeared. Like, originally, I was suspicious. I was like, did he have something to do with this? But at the same time, I also trusted him so much, and I'd put, like, so much more trust in him when he could have finessed the fuck out of me in the past, that it wouldn't really make sense for him to do this to, like, me or Ashton, because he's had better opportunities in the past and he hasn't. So I knew something was up, but I didn't think he was involved at all. So, I was like, bro, are you good? Where the fuck you at? And he was like, bro, I booked it. Where you at? Like, what's up? Like, I need a ride, bro. Like, I don't know where the fuck I'm at. I just ran. So I was like, send me your location, bro. I'll come get you right now. So he sends me his location. I come through. Dude is fucking beat. Like, I'm talking, he probably got the worst beating out of all of us. You know, he gets in the car. He's breathing heavy as fuck. I look back and I'm just like, bro, you good? And he's just sitting there and he's like, yeah, dude, just go back to my crib. Just fucking go. So I just gun it. I step on it. And he ended up being maybe like 2-3 minutes away from the apartment, not super far. He was in like some random person's like backyard. I don't know where the fuck he was, but either way, we go back to his house and I ask him, I'm like, bro, what the fuck happened? Like, what happened to you? Because I'll explain what happened to us. And he was like, I didn't even know shit happened to y'all. I came back out, and when I was running, I tried to like glance over and see if I could see your car, but you were fucking gone. So I thought you just left because you were impatient or some shit. And I was like, bro, we got fucked up too. Like, what happened to you? And what he ended up saying was, what happened was he went into the apartment, and there was like 3 motherfuckers sitting in this room, and it was a different 3 than the dudes who did the stuff to me and Ashton. So the 3 dudes sitting in the apartment, he goes in, and they get, they're all sitting in the living room, and he busts out a scale, busts out his bag, and he starts bagging it up, weighing out what they wanted. They didn't want a ton. They only asked for a quad. So, he starts bagging it up, and a dude comes behind him and grabs him and like puts him in a chokehold. And they just start beating the fuck out of him, apparently. And I believed it because this man was beat as fuck. Like, he was like, bro, look at how bad they fucked me up. He was like, there's probably some marks. Look at how bad. And we get back to his house, and we finally hop out the car and go inside. And he takes his shirt off, and he's like, look at this shit, bro. And this is a tough motherfucker, let me remind you. Like, I've seen this guy fight. This man's wild. I would not want to fight this man ever. Like, for any fucking reason. He robs me for like $1 million. Keep that shit, bro. I don't want to scrap. But he takes his shirt off and he's like, look, he's got fucking big ass welts all over him. He's got shit on his face, his body, all over his fucking body, like specifically his stomach and all that. Like, he got fucked up. So at that point, I knew. I was like, there's no way that this man was going to like fake getting robbed and like set us up over like maybe like a $90 stain, like if even, like there's no fucking way he would get his ass beat that bad. Like, there's just no way. So I was like, holy fuck, dude, like you got fucked up. And after that I was like, do I got a welt? And I kind of like, because I got hit kind of in like the upper chest, so I just kind of pulled down like the collar of my shirt, big ass red mark on my chest. Ashton's just fucked up. Like, they did him dirty as fuck. We felt bad. We ended up having to get like an ice pack for him and smoking another blunt so he'd feel a little better. And we just rolled up another blunt, and he had an ice pack. I was sitting there. We were all sitting there just trying to discuss what the fuck to even do, or like how to even comprehend what just happened. And Chris's girl is sitting there and she's just like silent. Like, she just had nothing to say. Like, she was just mind boggled. So it was a pretty fucked scenario, and all in all, I'm pretty lucky that they didn't end up taking shit from me. Granted that I'm pretty sure they would have if they had time, but they were mainly going for Ashton because they knew that he was involved in like the retaliation of them robbing him originally, but they didn't know I was involved. So, the total losses were they ended up taking Ashton's phone, which I don't know why the fuck they would do that, because iPhones are like impossible to get into if you have a password. Like, they're such a fucking bitch. So they ended up taking his phone, and they took the Zanzi ad on him, and they didn't end up getting his cash, which was a good thing because this happened real fucking quick. They didn't end up getting his wallet. He always carried his wallet like on his waistband, like he'd wear his belt super tight and then have the wallet like tucked on the belt. So, luckily they didn't grab that, but they got what he had on him in terms of drugs and his phone. And in terms of drugs, he lost like, not a ton. He lost like 40-50 Zans, which, I mean, for the prices he was paying was like less than $100. So, I mean, it was not terrible, but it was fucked. After that, every time I wanted to hit him up to hang out, I'd have to text him on his fucking pinger off his computer. Like, we'd have to do that kind of shit, or like message him on Steam or some bullshit. But yeah, it was a pretty fucked up night. And karma struck. Luckily, karma struck. One of the dudes who partook in the robbery is currently locked up for 20 years. Another one of them got kicked out of his house and is couch surfing. And the third one is just kind of not really accomplishing anything. So, yeah, it was, karma strikes, but it was a pretty fucked up night that I felt like making a video on. I don't really know why. You know, I was just trying to think of stories that had my boy Ashton in them, wanted to, you know, tell some more stories with them, whether they were good or bad. You know, I've been thinking about them. So either way, hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.